Gentlemen, around here, nothing but rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I've been telling you for, I would say, months, maybe, years, to put this channel on alerts because, your boy a little bit sporadic. I just be working when I need to work. I work when I feel like I need to work sometimes. And sometimes the schedule is just the schedule. So we get home last night. We're grinding until about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning here, Pacific Coast time, getting all the video cut up for today's show. And we look at today's schedule. Elite 11 starts at 9 o'clock. Pacific Standard Time over here. So we got to be back over at the field over at Redondo High School in like an hour and a half. So I knew we wanted to give you a day two kind of recap show on here because we enjoyed doing yesterday's show with all the guys. So we came back again today. Couple of things. It's just down to the three of us. It got a little weak. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. Everyone was happy about getting up this morning except for Goodall. And I don't mind giving him any shots. Okay, Zach, if you're watching, you're lazy. You're a bum. Okay, you just like to sleep, and that's okay. Anyways, yesterday was the Pro Day event over at the Elite 11. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but more importantly than talk about it here on this channel, we are the Film Guy Network. We like to show you. Okay, so I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what's going on out here. Y'all only see either whether it's through an Instagram Live or whatever footage we give you. So we're going to explain what's actually been going on and talk a little bit about how we've scored it and how we've evaluated it. And hopefully, not necessarily you see it the same way we do, but you understand what we're doing. And you're not just like, oh, they're just slapping numbers at balls. That's not what we're doing, but kind of what we're doing. Okay, we're going to talk about that today. But first, I always love coming out here and talking to coaches almost more than players. The players will tell you. I mean, they'll give you their honest opinion and they'll let you know what they think. And oftentimes the players do know. But the coaches out here are some of the most premier quarterback coaches in the world. Like, it does not get better than some of these guys like a George Whitfield. I don't think you'll find a smarter, better, cleaner, more professional quarterback trainer in the world or quarterback coach in the world than George Whitfield. And if there were, they're probably on the staff, right? It would be a Jordan Palmer. It would be a Quincy Avery. It would be one of these guys that's, out here helping out. And I was talking to George before yesterday's practice, and I just asked him, like, hey, man, what's going on with these Georgia guys? What are they doing? And before he gave me any type of evaluation about either player, he told me about their process here this week at the Elite 11 that is very unique. This is not the first time. We've told you here on the network. It's not the first time they've had two commits to a single school here at the Elite 11 finals. In fact, Georgia, you're not foreign to this. Aaron Murray and Zach Mettenberger were in the same Elite 11 class, right? Last year, they had two Miami commits, Jaden Rashada and the kid that's still there. I don't know what the guy's name is. I always forget it. But nonetheless, this is not the first time they've had two commits. But this is the first time that they've not shied away from competition. Typically, this is an event where they kind of want guys to compete, but they want guys to be kind of comfortable. They don't want them to feel pressured or anything like that. They threw that by the wayside this week. Every single thing these guys have been doing, these Georgia guys have been back to back to back. They've been right in the same rooms together. They've been throwing right after one another. They have been forced to compete this week. And it sounds like both have been relatively comfortable with such a setting. And I think it's been very, very unique to watch them go. Like the Pro Day. It's the third year I've been here. The Pro Day is a random event. You could be first, you could be 21st, you could be third. It does not matter. They randomize it. They do it as a way to make you, not know when you're happening, right? They basically let you know when you're on deck, and that's about it. You get about 9 minutes to warm up and get hot, and they want it that way. They want it to feel sudden. They want you to feel rushed. Georgia guys were right back to back last night. Puglisi through, and then Raiola through. I want to bring my guys in here today. I wanted to share that with my Georgia audience today, because your program is a place of competition, is a place of work. That is what Georgia is all about. And for these guys to come here and be not only willing to do it, but forced to do it, I think that's a very important thing. You guys are aware of Brendan Carroll, my boy. It's all Gators, right? All yes, Gators. My boy yes. From All Gators. And Evan Crowell, my guy from Volunteer Country, an absolute sniper. Evan's been with me for a long, long time. And first time on
way
there.
too long.
Way too long.
Way
Evan,
too long.
Evan, how we doing, man? First debut.
Doing good, man. I'm juiced. Let's get after it.
I'm juiced. Always juiced. An uncommon energy, and an uncommon enthusiasm from my boy Evan Crowell, and that's the key. This pro day script, man, I've said it for years. And Brandon, I'd like your opinion. It's your first time seeing it yesterday. There's no way you can watch a quarterback go through that 20 throw script and not know everything about him from a physical standpoint, right? I think I see every throw I need to throw. Hey, or I need to see, can he move to his left? Can he move to his right? Can he throw on his left? Can he throw on his right? Can he avoid conflict? Can he throw deep balls? Can he throw runners? Can he throw with touch? If there is a ball I need to have questions about, that Elite 11, pro day script solves it immediately.
Absolutely. I think there's a great variety in the script that they put together. Obviously, they start out with the kind of routine throws at the line of scrimmage. You get the swing pass, but then they just go straight to the deep ball, going straight for that front pylon on the right side on that post corner type route. So I think there's so much variance and so much variety that you're able to see what quarterbacks can really do really quickly into that script, and then they just continue and start to kind of get a rhythm as it goes on. I think it's very indicative of how good, how
it's almost a retention test too.
Yes.
Like we're sitting there on the sidelines and we were trying to chart the routes, right? And we ended up doing a pretty good job of it. But I mean, they're rat-a-tat-tat. They don't slow down. They don't walk you through. They don't baby you. Now they might do it. They might do like a walkthrough during meetings and put all the routes on the board or whatever. But as soon as they get out there, they have one counselor walk through the drill and throw the balls, and then they're like, "All right, boys, let's go." And then they just go. So what do you think about the pro day script, Evan?
I thought the evaluation was kind of twofolded for me. I mean, based on we'll get into the grading scale later, but we're grading purely off the throws, nothing else. So that's one part
and
of
really
it.
Location too, not even like how the ball arrives, just like where it arrives.
Right. But then, like you said, there's that other side of the retention. They're only going through it live one time. It's 20 different throws. That's a lot of information to comprehend. And everyone processes that differently. There are guys in the back that are paying attention and taking dry reps behind it that are really locked in. And, there's some people that are walking around. That's the difference between that is, and that's not something we factor into the ranking scales, but that's going to ultimately what determines, which of these guys we hear on Saturdays, which of the ones that we may not. That's everything right there.
We're a big dry rep group here. We
huge
believe
dry rep group.
Yeah, huge dry rep group. What's a dry rep? Okay. A dry rep is when your teammate or someone in front of you is taking a rep, okay, and you are off. You are standing behind the action, and you are mentally and physically taking the rep on air. You are taking a dry rep as if to mentally fully prepare yourself for the rep. Ryan Puglisi, big dry rep guy. Air Nolan, big dry rep guy. Who else was taking him?
Honestly, those are the main two that stood out to me.
Dante Reno,
big dry rep guy.
Yep.
Cade Klubnik, a couple years ago, huge dry rep guy. Brock Vandegrift, massive dry rep guy in years past. I'm just thinking back.
Oh.
Even Caleb Williams. Like people think Caleb Williams naturally talented, naturally gifted football player. Yeah, dry rep guy. Takes dry reps, wants to feel his body and mentally go through the processes of doing something before he does it. I think this pro day script is elite. I think you're going to see it here in a second when we start looking at these films, exactly what's going on. And I'm glad to be able to talk you through these scoring systems. But first, I want to take a moment. Hey, however, wherever you found us, hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We're going to have another live show tomorrow. We have an all day off tomorrow here in LA. So we're going to be pumping out some content here on the channel. So make sure you are subscribed and not missing that. I tweeted it out yesterday. And we talked about it yesterday on the show. There is such a variance in opinion in this business, and when it comes to this event in particular. And I don't understand how I didn't see that is obvious, that is supposed to happen. And I could see how fans kind of misconstrued as well. It's like, how are there 5 different companies and 5 different rankings out there? How are y'all not seeing it the same? And I came to the conclusion last night, this is a position that has a hit rate in the first round of 50%, meaning the best players in the world at this position coming out of college after watching them for 3.5, 4 years, they only hit one out. It's a coin flip. It's a literal coin flip. And even the order of that coin flip doesn't even, come out right all the time, right? A Lamar Jackson might be better than a Mitch Trubisky who got drafted 20 spots ahead of him, but they're still first round draft picks and they're graded that way. It is a very hard position to evaluate, and it is a very subjective position to evaluate. You like what you like. Okay, even the system and the scoring system that we're about to show you, it is very subjective. Okay, have you ever played the 3-2-1 game at home? Okay, whether you play baseball or football. I was a baseball and football guy. We played 3-2-1 in warm-ups all the time. If I hit your belt in a game of catch, that is 1. If I hit your chest, that's 2. If I hit your head, that's 3. Well, what happens if I hit your neck, coach? Well, I don't know. Do we count that as a 2, or do we count that as a 3? Or do we count that as 2.5? Or do we argue and bitch and moan about what it is? It's subjective, right? So when we go through the scoring system, like we're about to, understand that it is subjective. But I want to talk this through, and I want to talk football with you like we always tend to do on this channel. So I'm going to add this right here. This is Julian Sand, okay? Julian Sand was our clear-cut winner. Not clear-cut winner. I think he won by half a point over Dylan Raiola. Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Half a point over Dylan Raiola. And as we go through this script, I'm going to walk you through where these balls are supposed to be, okay, and what routes are supposed to happen. This first route right here, off rip, by the way, is a slant route, okay? A slant route, ladies and gentlemen, should be right there, okay? When that receiver comes out of his break, his hands need to be above his face, and that ball needs to be eye level or higher, okay? You do not need to make him turn his hands down. You do not need to make him put his pinkies together. That ball needs to be out in front of him, and additionally, he cannot break stride. For this to be a 3, for this to be scored a 3 on our scoring system, his momentum has to continue throughout the rep as he did right here. Boom, there's no breaking stride. Now, next we have what's called an OTB. Okay, what is an OTB? It is an over-the-ball route. Okay, the tight end runs up, turns around, runs right over the ball. Some people call it a spot route. That spot route better be right at his chin or his nose. We better be right here. This is either a running back or a tight end that's not necessarily used to a ball coming right at his face. No stop. All right, so we have to hit him in the chin or higher. That ball, as you can see, hits my boy right in the chin. That's a 3. All right, our next ball, a little curl out of the slot right here after working through your progression. We're going to go 1, 2, back to 3. Boom. A ball better be at eye level or right at the chin again. Okay, thought that ball might be a little bit inside. We might have argued whether that was a 2 or a 3, right, boys? Yeah. I think our scoring system might have had it a little split there between the both of us. By the way, our crew had one crew on one side of the field, had another on the other side of the field. Okay, so we tried to get it as best as we could. All right, that was a 3 in our book, I'm pretty sure. Now, we got a swing route. A lot of guys miss on this ball. This is hard. Okay, 1, 2 to 3 to ball out. Ball's got to be in front of the running back. I want that ball on his chest or in front of his body. This is not a receiver. This is a guy that is swinging away from you, right? He is swinging this way away from you. We want that ball out in front and let that joker run. That's a 3 ball. All right. Next up, we got our big boy throws. We're going to avoid conflict, and we're going to throw a deep corner route right here. All right. This was, I think we graded it a 1. Because he was a little reckless. And I don't mind when kids do this because this tells me he's in what we call the flow state. He's having fun right here, guys. Like I saw some stuff on social media of people saying shit for doing this little jump throw. Guys, this is a clear-cut killer. I mean, when we talk to Whitfield and we talk to these coaches, he's calm, bro. He's collected. Like when we ask who's a professional, they say this guy. So you might see this clip on Twitter and you're like, oh man, he just doesn't give a fuck. Right? He's out there messing around. He doesn't give a shit. No. He's having fun, right? There's a difference between a guy having fun and a guy just out here messing around, not taking the event serious. He's just having fun. He's testing his limits. He's seeing what he can get away with.
And the kids know too.
Yeah, the kids do know. I mean, if we had the audio on, you could hear them just getting absolutely exuberant right there. Hey, obviously they throw another corner route here off of a standard set, right? We don't need to avoid the conflict. Let's be nice and stagnant with our feet. Let's be nice and professional with our feet. That ball's supposed to be like that. We want to see that Willie Mays type catch, and we want to be directing him towards the second pylon. That's another 3 ball. Okay, that's another 3 ball. Belly action, put the ball into the belly of the back, throwing a little deep over right there. Okay, we want that. We call that a runner. We want that receiver to continue to run after the catch. Boom. Just like that corner route we showed you earlier. Same route right there. We want that ball out in front. We want it catched. We want it caught. All right, now we're avoiding conflict, moving to our left, throwing a real steep comeback. It's 18 back to 15. This is what we call a big boy comeback. It's college stuff right here. They're going to throw this all the way back, 18 to 15. We want that ball up and away, right? We want it either up and away or up or down and away. We want it away from the defensive back. Nonetheless, we want it with a lot of zip. That was a 3 ball for us as well. Okay, avoiding conflict again. Now throwing that other deep over. That's another runner. I think we gave him a 2 there because the receiver had to jump and put his hands outside of his framework. Okay. Boom. I think we had another 2 there because he was above his eyes. That was a kind of a square in. Okay. And we want to see that ball out in front of his eyes again. Okay. Another comeback. Ball up and away there. Avoiding conflict. Dover on the run. Want to see that receiver never break stride. I think we gave him a 3 there. Now we're going RPO bang 8 on the backside. RPO slant right here. Boom. Oh, that's another Dover. That's the RPO slant. Ball's out in front. Ball's out in front all the time from saying yesterday. And that ball, that's a rail shot. Like those are touchdown, cover 2 throws or cover 3 shots right there. And then I love that the Elite 11 does this. I can't remember who I saw start this. I remember Dilfer doing it the first year I saw it, and my man's knees are shot, so he didn't look great back there playing the safety role. But they put a coach, you can't see him, guys, right here. They put a coach right here on the hash, okay, in between these 2 receivers, and they make these guys make a decision. Like if I get into, if I cover the middle of the field, we got to throw the X receiver on the outside. If I cover the X receiver, we got to throw the ball on the inside seam route, okay? And it's got to be a decisive or a quick decision. And it's got to be an on-time football, okay? Boom. And then that ball right there is another bang 8. And then this is another very unique Elite 11 drill. They put bags in front right here and make you throw a touch ball and make you land on that back line, okay? And boom, you want to elevate that football. You almost want that receiver to go up and come back down. All right. Now, before we get going into other ones, we can talk about saying, but talk about the scoring system and how subjective this is, because we could go through there all day and argue about what's a 2 or a 3.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think a lot of the outbreaking routes and routes towards the sideline are the ones I have the most discrepancy on just because of ball placement. And like you said, the comeback is a route that you really want to push the ball to the sideline because that's the ball that gets picked and taken back for 6. That's the one that we see the most often resulting in it not getting there and the other team getting a possession or points. And I think that one of the biggest things with this scoring system, like you said, is it's so subjective that we'll have, there's plays where one of us can have a 3 and another one can have a 2. But between our group in general, I felt like we were very consistent in terms of we were only 1 or 2, 1 point off in each throw.
I don't want to speak for anybody else, and I don't even know how the Elite 11 did, but I didn't see any coaches out there charting individually. I saw coaches coaching and then a score being announced. So I would presume another coach was in the box doing his own scoring.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought what was very unique about us, and I don't want to speak for any other companies either, but I thought what was unique about us is with the fact that we had 2 separate scoring systems. And then we came back after the night and we didn't reevaluate. We didn't argue. We averaged amongst, right? We said, okay, this is how you saw it. This is how we saw it. Let's meet in the middle. Those are our scores. And we saw it from 2 different vantage points. I think oftentimes there is such variance, but we didn't really have that much. Like when we went back and looked at it last night, Evan, you tallied it up.
Yeah.
We weren't that much different, were we? There was a couple of variances,
but for the most, I mean, there's 20 participants. So I'd say on 16 of them, we were within a point or so of each other.
And I mean, that's pretty dialed in.
Oh, yeah.
Right. All right. So let's watch our boy Dylan Raiola. All right, guys. Here's the deal. You guys know, I mean, y'all chuckle it up right now. I am not very smart. I'm just not very smart. Me know football. Me talk football. Great. Okay. Anything outside of that, I've been hitting the head way too many times. That's why me know football. Me know football real well. Me not know names. Okay. So I'm just going to try Raiola. All right, here we go. On to Dylan Raiola's tape. All right. Now, you want to talk about easy juice. This is it. All right. But you want to talk about an argumentative point. This slant is second window slant. This slant is not a ripped football. Okay. This slant has arc on it, but it has perfect positioning. Okay. It is put in the right spot. But watch how this ball does this one. Okay. Watch how this ball kind of arcs on me. All right. And that's not because this dude doesn't have the arm talent, right? He has the most arm talent on the field.
Yep.
It's the fact that he is not ripping this ball when we're supposed to be ripping this ball. Okay. Now, that could be a combination of, hey, maybe he's throwing new receivers, whatever it is. but super catchable ball, guys. Have y'all seen very many guys drop Raiola's balls this week?
No.
I've not.
And that is a trait, by the way. That was a 2 for us because he made the running back jump.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, this is what this guy does.
Yep.
Okay. And does it really, really well.
That ball
Drops. And this is what we were talking about in the car. And I'm glad you mentioned it, Evan. When we see deep balls, I want to see Russell Wilson. I want to see rainbows. I want to see the nose down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when you're at home and you're watching a quarterback throw, or if you're in high school and you're watching somebody throw, if they're throwing deep balls, and when that deep ball arrives, if it is not completely nose down, meaning it is all the way like looking like it's dropping from the sky, he didn't get enough arc on it. Like, we want that ball looping and coming down violently on that receiver towards the end of it. Oh, and this ball he throws to his left here in a second is filthy.
This was his stretch.
Yeah. I mean, we said it yesterday on the show. He should win the pro day. Because it's what he does. I mean, he is a stone cold ripper of the football.
Yeah, this is his event.
Yes. This ball right here is silly.
Yeah, that was.
I want to put the sound on it because you can hear it hit the camera. I mean, we can sit here all day and watch this one. This is the throw. This is why he's the number one player.
And there's the arm strength that we were talking about earlier on that first slant. Like, he has the tools to be able to make it.
The juice is there. I have felt this week that sometimes it does feel like he is placing footballs. Like, there's a corner out here in a second, you can tell his arm speed clearly slows down. But you know what? Like that ball right there. I don't know if, like, should you knock him, or should you say he's clearly trying to throw a catchable football? Because here's the deal. If I process that read and my guy on the Dover is open, all right, and he's wide open and he's running the grass, I don't have to rip that football. Like, even though God lets me throw 100 miles an hour, I don't have to all the time. And I think that's the key right there for Dylan. I talked to him yesterday about it, and about just like, hey, are you ever at 100%? Like, are you ever like actually like really, really ripping the football? And he was like, he's a big ground force guy.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about ground force. And what that is his lower half opening before his upper body. Okay. And I wish I could slow it, but we can't slow-mo it. But his lower body opens before his upper body. Boom. His hips are already in motion right now. His foot is already in, his front foot is already in front foot strike. He always plays with good knee bend. He's got a really, really stout and powerful lower half. This is a football player, guys. I'm going to blow your mind right here. He didn't start playing quarterback until 9th grade.
Whoa.
So he's just so talented.
I didn't know that. That's ridiculous.
He's so talented.
Well, he's not just so talented. He is talented. He's God gifted.
Yeah.
His dad played in the league. Don't get me wrong. Baseball player, catcher,
Yep.
like was a world-class high school baseball player, growing up in Texas and whatnot. And now, just a flawless thrower of the football. There's like, when you watch it, there's some inconsistencies in the base. Don't get me wrong. Like, his feet are in a different spot almost every time. Yeah. Like, but the upper body and how his lower body rotates, there's no cleaner. There's no cleaner. Let's just talk about him for a brief minute.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's the clear-cut favorite today for the Elite 11 to win, right? I mean, he's 4th in the first day, I think, on their rankings, and 4th yesterday. And they are a film evaluation based. And the thing about the Elite 11 is they've actually got the tape. The thing for the rest of us, we don't have any Dylan Raiola tape. We have no junior tape for Dylan. But I'm sure the Elite 11 has been able to watch it. So I would imagine that he's probably, like I say, he's probably the favorite to win. When you imagine him or saying,
yeah, they have to. One of those two have to be. Just after the first 2 days, they've both looked. They've had their moments, obviously, but Raiola just kind of being in that 4 spot both days on the Elite 11 rankings, I think, is putting him in a great position to, kind of earn that crown with a massive day 3.
All right, here's our guy Pug, and we talked about the players knowing. You know how many players I've had tell me that this guy's got the strongest arm at this event? I mean, it just throws gas. I've had multiple quarterbacks tell me that, no, that dude's got the strongest arm. Like, he rips the football. The thing that kind of not necessarily concerns, the areas for improvement for Ryan right now are these touch balls, right?
Yeah.
Like that corner ball he missed right here. This very first corner he throws, he misses. Or no, the next one. Nonetheless, the balls that aren't thrown on a line are the ones that we kind of got to improve on here for Pug, or at least that he struggled with yesterday, like balls like this. This ball looked like it missed inside, or the receiver completely just whiffed on it in the air. You never really know. Like that, we're in the same spot on all these routes, right? And that's that ball we just, pontificated upon with Raiola.
Mm.
But that receiver on the next one, when Pug's running the route, ran it clearly 3 yards shorter.
Yep.
Clearly, we're in the same spot, guys. So when you see a slant look one way and the next slant look the other way, like it is what it is, man. So like you're kind of getting a crapshoot, if you will, luck of the draw almost.
Thing I liked about Puglisi, especially, you can't hear it with the sound, but he has this energy about him that, like, when he throws, everyone's been waiting for it because he's behind there taking the reps, but also everyone at that event is watching him, including the quarterbacks. They all love him. The energy gets high when he throws. People really gravitate to this dude.
This pro day event it's funny you said this pro day event is very obvious. Like when a guy makes a good throw, who likes him and who don't. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
without a doubt.
We won't name any names, but it's very clear that there are some friendships being made, and there are some loners, if you will.
Yep.
Okay, and you can definitely tell by how people respond to some bombs. Like, who got some of the biggest applause all night? DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
When DJ was throwing balls and making plays, kids were getting lit.
Airs like that too.
I think they love the Grunkmeyer kid. I think they love listening or watching him have success. There's guys like this every year that dudes gravitate to. Yeah, we had some companies out here judging this based off completions. I thought that was wild.
Yeah.
It's just a million different ways to score something like this, but I think there's one right way, and it's like we in the Elite 11 do. I sat down with George Whitfield yesterday and walked through an entire script with one of the quarterbacks throwing, and we scored it right there together. Said, hey, what'd you think of that? Well, I think that's a 2. I think that's a 3. And we were all on the same page there with what was going on. So here's the Grunkmeyer kid, a little different view, a little different angle for you here, so you can kind of see a little bit more of the route concepts. This kid's improved a lot.
Yeah, he has.
He's improved his stock at least a lot. Not that, he's not going to change commitments. He's a Penn State lock, but this kid he's going to shoot up rankings. I think that's one of the only hard misses he had all day.
Yeah, I think he's kind of been proven just in the first 2 days as a little bit of a gem, kind of a steal from Penn State getting in on him so early and seeing this potential. He's really proven himself as one of the better quarterbacks in this competition so far.
And you know what? He's completely different than the Altmaier kid they had here a couple years ago. Luke Altmaier was like Mr. Traits.
Mm-hmm.
He's very Kromanoki.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
He's very all traits guy, but with a lot more twitch on him. This dude's, got to do everything right.
Technical.
Yeah.
If you watch his feet, he might have had the best feet of anyone at the entire event. He was working every single time to get in the right spot.
They were on Instagram Live yesterday during the pro day. They always do. Good runner right there. That's where that ball's supposed to be too. We want those hole shots up and away, man. We don't want to be dragging.
That seam ball that determined a lot of people's winners and losers.
Dude, man, like it's a really tough script because at one point guys are running across your face, like guys are running this way. Guys are running across your face and away from you and away from the ball. Then the next thing they're running vertically away from you.
Yep.
Then the next thing they're stopping. Then the next thing they're running digs right back into you. Then the next thing they're running corner routes. So it's like they don't allow you to be comfortable in that script. Like you're not allowed to just be like, all right, get in a groove.
Yeah.
Right. Every motion feels different. Every cut feels different.
That's like I was saying earlier with the swing pass. You're hitting the running back out in the flats, and then you're going straight for the
straight
deep
to
ball.
a big boy corner.
So it's just like
the biggest ball they throw all day.
Yep.
You're like, here's a ball to the back.
Yeah.
All right, now I got to.
Now you got to uncork it,
yards.
get it to the front pylon.
Now I got to throw as far as I humanly possibly can.
It's really a consistency. That's what I like about it, is that it's 20 throws that are, the variance isn't high. It's 0 through 3. There's not a ton. So you got it. That's what made Sayan so impressive. He was the only quarterback we graded without a 1 throw. Like, everyone's going to face adversity in this, but how you come back from it, if you throw 4 threes in a row, that's the difference between 45 and a 52.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there were several quarterbacks that put together big runs, and I think most of those guys are the ones at the top. Like, you go back and look at our individual scoring, it's like 3, 3, 3. Like, they have like
Sayan
4 or 5 in a row.
I think Sayan and Raiola had like 12 perfect throws in a row or something like that. All right, let's watch Lagway and get out of here. I love doing it on video. I don't know if it's going to show up on video as much, but I have thought this ball has the most life all week.
I agree.
Okay, when he lets it go out of his hands, it moves faster than everybody else. Now, we could say that some of these routes are not supposed to be, you're supposed to be thrown with touch. It's supposed to be thrown with finesse. I'm with you. A comeback's a damn comeback. Okay. Yep. And you should throw that thing like a damn comeback.
Yep.
All right. You should let it rip. A slant is a slant. Okay. It should be catchable. It should not be wobbling, but that thing should be firm. You know what I mean? It should not bend. It should not loop. This ball has had real natural life and juice all week. Super horsepowery. Yeah. That one right there.
And he's so good at throwing off platform, and I think he really shows that on these kind of rollouts throughout the week, and really on film too. And it kind of just showed in a lot of these throws that he made whenever he was going to his right or his left. I'm glad I paused
it here. The only thing I've heard coaches say about him, okay, and the only thing, I'm not a guru here. I'm not a fundamentally sound quarterback coach. I just can tell you whether or not you're making right decisions or whether or not something's god awful. Do you notice how his heels are off the ground?
He plays on the balls of his feet.
Yeah.
And that was
the only thing they're trying to correct. And the fact that this guy is, like we're saying, most lively arm here today or this week, the ball has popped, the ball has jumped. And he's got room for improvement. That's kind of freaky.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of the reason why he plays on the balls of his feet is because he has the baseball background.
Yeah,
and he didn't start playing quarterback until a few years ago. He's similar to Raiola where he only started throwing a football in 9th, 10th grade.
Yeah,
so he's trying to figure that out.
Right, that's a 3.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like this ball right here.
Watch the hips too.
This was considered an incompletion and a minus on some other people's board. This is a 3. This ball could not be thrown any better. That ball is on the front pylon like they asked him to throw it. That ball is over the shoulder. That ball is coming back down on that receiver. That is a perfect ball.
This is a 225-pound guy that is fluid 6'3", and he can move.
I think he got a little cheeky there.
Yeah,
and like we were telling with the saying stuff, jump throwing. I don't mind if you're out here doing a little something. And that was
his worst ball.
That was our only zero, one of our only zeros of the day. Yeah. I think that was also unique about us. We gave zeros, dude. I'm not giving you a 1 for this. This ball doesn't deserve a 1. Okay. That ball right there does not deserve a 1 when this ball that ends up at this dude's shin gets a 1 on our scoring system too. So we gave that a 0.
And we did as well.
Balls in front.
A lot of it too is bouncing back from a throw like that. So you have a guy that, there's different players that they made throws like that, but they weren't able to rebound. There's the Sayan or
there was a quarterback
Lagway
from the state of Georgia that could not bounce back yesterday. He had a bad throw about midway through the script, and he downhill from there.
Yeah. Good ball.
Beautiful
that receiver
ball.
Right
Good
there,
ball.
by the way, boys. That receiver
He's
right
coming.
there.
He is on his way up.
My little white boy right here. This kid right here is nice. All right. I know we have a lot of coaches that watch this program. All right. Coach, if you're listening, figure it out. Call me, figure it out.
Dog.
There's a dog.
This
kid's like 6'2". Okay. 6'3", ran 4.6 up at Utah this last month. Tracks it like Willie Mays. And ain't been playing football since 7th grade. Just got back to it. Picked up 13 D1 offers this year. So, hey, on him. On him. But, yeah, let's finish out Lagway, and then we'll call it a day. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, all that good stuff. We got a dead snap here. He can be a little bit too laggy. What do I mean by that? Okay. Front half can be a little, just a smidge too far out in front of his back half. We want to be front half first. We want to create some separation, right? We want to create lag is what we call. Okay. We want our front half to be out in front of our back half. We want to create like a whipping action, but we don't want it to seem like as if there's a disconnect. You know what I mean? We don't want to seem like front half's career moving, back half's career moving. Thought Lagway's had a great week. He's going to average out really, really high for us. That's what we do here at SI. We like to do 3-day results, right? Day 1, day 2, day 3 performers, rank them all out, and then, basically average out where folks finished on those 3 days. Lagway's got a good chance. He finished top. He was our top performer.
Top performer day 1
top
and then
5 yesterday.
Yeah. So he's been atop the pack both days so far and has really looked to be crisp, and he's gotten the ball out with some zip. He's really proven that arm strength this week.
We would be remiss if we didn't Dante Reno. Talk about him.
Let's talk about Dante Reno. He was one of the last invites to this. He fought like ridiculously hard to get an invite. It was touch and go on if he was going to come. And then he showed up, South Carolina quarterback commit. He finished 8th in our rankings yesterday, really comfortably made the field and out threw on our ranking system some really, really talented throwers of the football that had good days. Definitely a coach's kid.
Yeah, definitely a coach's kid. Dad's the head coach at Yale.
Mental rep guy.
Draw rep guy.
But he's got some juice on it inside the pocket.
You know what? There's something to be said about a football player that does. I said this the other day, but that does everything right and is working to do everything right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Dante Reno is ever going to go into an SEC room at the quarterback position and be the most talented guy there. Mm-hmm. And I think he knows that, and that's okay. But by God, that kid's an SEC football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's an SEC football player and deserves to be there. All right, we see some questions in the chat. I don't necessarily want to hit on questions. Trevor Jackson is someone that has been asked about in the chat. We do have the clips cut up. We don't have them. We're not going to play them today. But I thought Trevor's had a tremendous week.
Trev showing up.
He's been one of the most impressive kind of underdog stories of the Elite 11. And I don't like to say underdog because every guy that comes here has a chance.
Yeah.
But if there's someone that kind of flew under the radar as one of the contenders coming in, I think he's been one of those pieces that has really stepped up and played well under the lights here so far.
Consistency.
Absolutely.
Over and over again. I think he has a very repeatable motion and repeatable stroke. I think that's invaluable in an event like this where, like, hey, I know my throw. I know my cut. I know that if I'm over and consistently over and over again consistent, then I'm going to lead to pretty solid and consistent results. That's what Trevor's done this week. Good energy about him too. Good vibes. Today is the day we will learn who's ready to quit. Like, today is the day. I see it every year. Day 3, kids start realizing they don't have a chance to win. It's an 8-hour day today.
Yeah.
We will be out there for a long, long time. Okay. They play a lot of 7-on-7. You have to wait your turn to play with your team. It's 2 quarterbacks per team. Today is the day I find out so much more about the intangible aspects of things than ever before. You know who's a leader today. You will. You will know who wants to win. You will know not only who's the best quarterback, but who's the best intangibles traits guy. Like I just said, you will know who has his teammates believing in him. Let's sign off today. What are your biggest impressions so far through 2 days?
Just like as a
whole, or whether it be the event, whether there's a player you want to talk about, think about it while I'm asking this question. Whether it be a singular player, whether it be a coach that you think stood out, whether it's something that needs to be corrected about the event, something about this event. What has been your primary takeaway from the first 2 days of this event?
Well, someone that we haven't really touched on today, we got into him yesterday, that I've been very, very impressed by is Air Nolan.
Yeah.
I think that one of the biggest things with him is kind of seeing him not only be able to make the throws in the routine areas, but yesterday he was really able to make those deep throws. And I know we talked about that. He was putting balls on dudes that would deep down the field, and they kind of it was right in the breadbasket.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was, we hadn't seen that from him before. We had seen kind of inconsistency deep down the field, but now he's starting to get it to where he's putting those balls in those spots consistently. And if that's the case, Ohio State is in for a very, very good
I
quarterback.
think horsepower was the term we used yesterday. It was just a question of it. I talked to Aaron about this last night after the event. I was like, man, I watched that guy throw for a long time, and I never knew whether or not he had that because, most of it is because I watch him work out in a place called the Bubble. It's an indoor facility.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of room in there, but dude was launching bombs yesterday. Evan, main takeaway so far through 2 days.
I think, and we've harped on him a lot on this program. We watched his tape, but I keep coming back to DJ Lagway, and he was kind of the first guy where we were driving back and we were going, "Hey, I think we're different than everyone
We're
on
way
this.
different
We're
than everyone
way
else on that
like."
one.
And I've said it for the last 2 days. If I'm in the camp where I'm buying the DJ Lagway stock and I'm alone in it, I'm totally fine with that because the dude that we saw the last 2 days is absolutely in that top 3, top 5 group in his camp. No question.
Without a doubt.
I think that's my takeaway. I think my takeaway is that as an evaluator, and look, I know I miss every once in a while. But I know I'm good at this. I know what I'm looking at. I know football. I don't think there's any doubt if you talk to me, you know that. But it's really hard to come out here and not question your evaluations. It's really, really hard to come out here and watch an entire industry think differently than you, or consistently different. It's not just one thing. It's like, hey, we saw this guy this way, that group saw him the same way, but the other 2 groups didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, hey, we got this guy low, no one else does. We got this guy high, no one else does, but this company does. You got to stop.
Yeah.
You got to stop doing all that shit, and you just got to look at what you trust and what you see and go with it from there and there only. And you can try to put numbers on it. You can try to put analytical information on it, but it really is a feel. It really is like a subjective mindset of, I believe in that. I believe in what that is, or I believe that is good, or I believe that is not. And you have to stand on those. That's my takeaway on this event. And as a viewer, I would find someone who's doing something like this. Not, we did it this way because this is the way it should be done. You should explain why you feel the way you feel. And the only way to do that is this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
You're going to have variance in opinions. We're going to bring you the reason why we feel the way we do. For Brooks Austin, for Brandon Carroll, for Evan Crowell, for the Film Guy Network, for Dogs Daily, for Volunteer Country, for All Gators, for everything involved with the team here today. Let's go golfing.
Let's golf.
Let's golf.
Let's golf.
No one's going to get that.